Hello and welcome to Impact Africa, our online talk show where we get to have conversations with diverse people and organizations who are impacting lives positively. I am Dr. Kemi Akiode Adebayo, also known as Mama K, and in today's program to share a story is this eloquent, selfless, creative social entrepreneur sister that I've discovered. I told you I've got so many sisters. Ms Jacqueline Tamri. She is the CEO and founder of Professional and Personal Institute of Excellence, PPIE. And she wears so many hats as well. She's a motivational speaker. She's a life coach. I could go on and on and on. My dear Jacqueline, welcome to Impact Africa. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm so super excited to be here and share positivity, as you say.
I can't wait to hear your story. So let's start from the beginning. Tell us about yourself. Where were you born? Life growing up? Education? Just share that positivity.
Nice. Okay, so, sometimes the starting point for me is a diamond is coal. It is dark, it is black, it is hidden in the depths of the earth. But it comes out shining at the end. So I must start off by saying, my birth, my life is a disruption.
I love that. We've never had this kind of interview before, but you're here with Jacqueline, the one and only. It's a disruption. Share.
It's a disruption. And so I was part of a project and a program where we got to write a piece of our story. Okay. And the book is called Disrupting Denial. Right? And it's a group of people who have particularly been diamonds in the rough, and the way they were born was and lived was almost problematic, but they come out as shining diamonds. So I'm going to read a small piece out of it. And please censor this in your mind. Okay. I'm 5 years old. I'm sleeping and it feels like I'm being touched. Like most of us, I'm sleeping on the floor in my granny's room at the foot end of their bed. He comes sneaking in every night. I feel him, but I'm not sure if I'm dreaming. I think maybe it's just my imagination. So now I still sleep tense, even as an adult, because I didn't know whether it was just a dream or actually happening. And even in that small little piece that I'm sharing, I couldn't write that in my own name because my family put a gag on me. So I'm a disruptor.
You sound speechless now. I don't know where to go with that, but thank you, for that opening, there. And I don't know how much you want to share, as well. Right now, I know today is about you sharing your story, but to hear that, and what you're saying with the family putting a gag on you. And unfortunately, there are a lot of cases like that.
Exactly.
There are a lot of cases like that, where the shame, the fear, and a lot of women or girls are still carrying, and even boys and men as well.
Exactly.
Are carrying such baggages. And unfortunately, because of the African society, it's about, don't bring shame to the family. Don't bring, So where and how, because obviously this book, like you said, was something that a lot of other people, shared, and you were brave enough to put that, even though you said you didn't put your name to it. What part of that now, as, in terms of looking back and where Jacqueline is today?
Exactly. Impact Africa, sharing our stories. What's nice for me? That is a part of my childhood that formed me. It made a huge part of my life. Understand something. That was at about 3 to 4 years old that I was experiencing this, and I became aware of it. It only stopped when I was 15. when I chose to speak up against it and was asked to leave. Right? And what it did for me was understand something. He could never fully abuse me because I slept with a pen between my legs and I would stab him and I would fight him and he could never molest me fully. Yeah. But the fact that he was this energy around my sleep at night, it impacted me. It traumatized me in my childhood. So people ask me, how can you say that you've been volunteering since the age of 11? That is why I started volunteering, because I wanted to be out of the house. That's the link. I wanted to be out of the house to be safe.
Because you couldn't get a safe space in your home.
Yes. Right. But that became my gold. Yeah. That became my diamond in the rough.
Yes, yes.
See? And so at the age of 11, my school had a project. We were now going to senior year of primary school, junior school. And they had a program where they said, how do you want to know what you want to do in your future? And I said, I want to be a social worker. I want to work in our communities because I knew what I was experiencing growing up in my home environment. And I knew there are others who experience it as well because children talk amongst each other. Don't go to that house. That uncle is not safe. Don't be alone with that. Don't go there. We children talk amongst ourselves. And so I knew other children were experiencing. And by some godly intuitive something inside of me, I said I want to be a social worker. And they signed me up with a social worker in Manenberg on the Cape Flats. And I would work with her and go into homes and see. And it would be homes of, you know, when a child presents at the local clinic with an STD, they know the child is being molested. Yes. But how can they help the child? And the social worker, the school must call a social worker and the clinic must call a social worker. So I would go with a social worker to see this. And that was my first exposure to the unfortunate child abuse, child molestation, incest in our communities. And I was a little tiny girl, so I was 11 already, I was mature already, I was about to go to senior year of junior school. But I was tiny, so she would let me play with a child who's being molested. And the child would not tell who's molesting them, but they would tell another child. And so I would know it's that uncle. Then we will tell the mommy, keep your child safe from that uncle. Because you know they don't make cases.
I know.
Because none of the cases go to court.
Exactly.
It does nothing to help the child.
Yeah. And that's one of the problems where the justice system has failed, you know.
Exactly. But let's see, again, that was my childhood, that was my experience, but out of this dark experience came my power. Yes. And so then
you were a life coach from that age, that bit that you were doing there. There's a calling.
Mama, now you will understand why I'm so passionate about it.
I now get it.
It's my life.
I get it.
I've lived it. I've come out of it.
Yes.
And I'm still standing, and I'm still a voice of positivity in our communities to say to the children. Everybody says, how is it that you were not raped? How is it that you were not heavily abused in that environment? I say, because something in me was fighting. It was saying, no, 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 you're not allowed to touch me. And I learned the power of no in that context already as a child. And so as a life coach, go 50 years later, 11, I'm over 55, going into 56. I now can say, this is what I want people to understand. You have the power. Right? And that's where the coaching comes in. And that's where the social entrepreneur work comes in. To be a positive voice, to be a voice in the desert, because that child feels alone. Those women who have carried that pain since childhood, their uncle, their brother, their nephew, their, mother's boyfriend, has molested them, they carry that shame with them. They cannot shine brightly because they feel for many years it's their fault. I knew it was not my fault. So that voice is a voice that I am happy to have across the world and have people understand you don't have to stay there.
But how can they do that? Don't even answer that, because I think we're just going to go deeper and deeper into that, which I'll want to at some point, even just to focus more on that. So we're already going into part 2, and we are coming to your space based on that particular one. Now, tell me as well, PPIE, when did you start it? Professional and Personal Institute of Excellence. When did you start it, and what kind of service do you provide, within it? And how has that been? I know, yes, you're a social entrepreneur because it's about impacting lives, putting back, you're working with a lot of other organizations, and you've been volunteering, like you said, since 11. So just share with us about that part of you that maybe a lot of people don't see.
Yes. No, you spot on. Thank you for the question. Mama K, for me, most of my life has been volunteering in the community, and I've always been happy to do it. But when you're volunteering and you don't even have bread yourself, then you go on your knees and you ask, Ish, what am I doing wrong here? What is wrong? And the question was thrown back at me from the atmosphere, from God, from my Creator, from my inner being. What have I given you to sustain yourself? And the answer I came back with, you gave me, and you gave me my own piece of the pie. PPIE. Piece of the pie.
Creativity is your second nature. Okay.
So I was like, okay, so you gave me my piece of the pie, but I'm not taking it. I'm not sitting at the table and saying, yes, thank you for my piece of the pie. I'm waiting for a handout. I'm waiting for somebody to come and dish food for me. And I had to take a really good look at myself and say, I'm missing the mark. It's me. I'm the one that's missing it. I'm sorry. Let me start over. And on my birthday, more than 8 years ago, a friend said, I'd like to gift you with the registration of your own company. What would you like? And I said, piece of the pie. And what is it that I want to do? I want to be of service to assist people in their personal development, in their professional development, and I want it to be an accredited institute with South Africa and internationally that provides services and skills training around being excellent as yourself in the world.
That's awesome.
And that's Professional and Personal Institute of Excellence.
Awesome. So what has been some of the challenges you've experienced, and what are your goals for 2023? I know 2020 with COVID, everybody, had to regroup, relearn and unlearn and all that. What are some of the challenges you've had, and what's your goal for this year?
Lekker question. So here's the thing. When you've been a volunteer for most of your life, right? You have difficulty saying no when people ask you to volunteer for them. It's second nature for you. But again, understanding I ought to be sustainable. I ought to look after me. I ought to care for me. And how do I care for me? So my goal for 2023 is to make myself sustainable first. When you're in an aeroplane and they say to you,
put on your
mask first. I think I got a slap upside my head. 2023, and especially understanding that as an internationally registered certified life coach for personal and professional business development, the understanding is I need to manage me first. And so what am I doing? My goal is to really put Professional and Personal Institute of Excellence out into the world, Number one, it's registered with government, it's on the central supplier database, we're fully compliant, is to provide skills development, wellness development, empowerment programs, strategic support to organizations, but especially, I think you know my heart, two key areas.
Yes.
One is women's economic empowerment. If you give that woman 50 Rand, she's going to feed 5 houses with that money. So I want to ensure for Professional and Personal Institute of Excellence that we really work at women's empowerment initiatives and provide support and business development for women on the continent. That's the one thing I'm very passionate about and want to see happening as an income generator for myself. Unapologetically.
Of course.
If I earn 100 Rand, I can support 5 other people. So I'm happy with that.
So
it starts with me if it is to be. Yes, ma'am. So my coaching practice is now, I'm busy designing my website, setting it up as an online international coaching business. Right? And so that's the one product. And then the second area that I'm really passionate about is neurodiverse, other abled bodies, and inclusion and diversity. So I'm working very strongly with a few organizations in South Africa to establish some institutes for them. And we're probably going to launch around April. And that will also be income generation for me. So as a social entrepreneur,
Definitely.
My income generation opportunities is also empowering opportunities for our communities, initiatives that makes a difference in the world. And so really grabbing the coal out of the dark, dank places, shining it up and letting the light shine. So that's what I'm planning for this year.
On that note, we'll just stop for a quick break and we'll be right back. I'm still trying to not process, but as in just take in, that intro, of you sharing that deep personal stuff, that, we sometimes hide and don't want to talk about. And I don't want to say that because I want whoever is watching right now to go back and replay that and say, oh, what are they talking about? So that they will understand, as well, and hear, what you shared there from that book. And like you said, it's part of what has led you into, your purpose. You're a life coach. You've started volunteering at 11. You're working with a lot of NGOs, as well. And I liked what you said there about the voice of positivity.
Yes.
Just being that, there. Let me now ask you, although I think I can tell, what are the 3 things for you that you value most in life and why?
So beautiful. What a beautiful question. And again, thank you for referring back to the opening, because again, it affirms what I'm saying. Yes. 3 things that I value most in life. Number 1 is authenticity.
Right.
And what is authenticity? I'm gonna take your mask off, ne? Be all you are. Be all you are. Don't hide parts of you because you think it's ugly, because you think it's sad. This is when you are authentic. All of you is beautiful. The good, the bad, the ugly, the nasty, the ugly. All of it is beautiful because all of it makes you you. And many times we hide. We just put the pretty out, you know.
Because we want to please others. What will people say?
Exactly. Which brings me to my second value that is so beautiful for me. It is autonomy.
Right.
You know, in Africa, we have the saying Ubuntu. I am because you are.
Correct.
How can you be you if you're not autonomous? Meaning, I can't be who I am authentically because I need to please you. So I'm connected to you. But until I can be my own oak tree, knowing my roots are there, connected to you, but I'm my own oak tree, we limit ourselves. Because I first need to please you. I can't be, you said so nicely when you introduced me, you said selfless. I want to say I'm more than selfless. I am self-full. Jacqueline, autonomously. I am part of the tree, but I am my own oak tree. Right? And that autonomy, I think many children cannot live authentically because, what will my mother say? What will my father say? What will my great-grandfather say? And then you can't be fully who you are in this world. That's a difficult thing, a difficult burden to carry. And I think particularly in Africa, we have a difficult life because we struggle to be authentic because we cannot be autonomously ourselves. And then the final word, which, it's so beautiful, so beautiful. I love it. It's a value that is beautiful for me. It's wholeness. Wholeness is autonomously, authentically, fully. And I'm going to say it. Everything God created you to be. All your experiences and all of your journey and everything that makes you you is whole. Don't just give me a piece of you, Anyana. I'm giving you a little piecemeal here. I want all of
you. Everything about you. Everything.
So wholeness is the other value that I value so fully because it really is Christ in me, the hope of glory. It's really all of me. Phew.
I have so much to ask you there, but I'm just looking at the time and I'm thinking, me and this lady, we're going to be here for 3 hours if we go at this rate. So let me fast forward a little bit now. What would you tell your future self? We've been through your childhood. Not fully. Just we just opened the door there. You just like I want to hear more, but not this segment. So what would you tell your future self? You know, like you said, you're approaching mid 50 in your fifth on going to your sixth step. What would you tell your future self?
Know that you have it all. It's okay.
I love that. I love that. So how would you define success? Because you've gone through this journey of, volunteering at a young age. And like you said, now you need to look after number one for you to be able to sustain yourself. Which, is it about money or is it about what you achieve? What's your definition of success? And the second part of that will be, what qualities are needed, as a leader? Because you lead, you led from a young age, following, the social worker, like you said earlier on in the So what qualities, what personal qualities do you need as a leader? I know I've bombarded you.
No, it's beautiful, beautiful questions. I love it. It's such amazing questions. So success for me has, from that very young age, been peace of mind. Okay. I somehow, there's always been wisdom in my bones, and I think all of us in Africa, and because the world comes from Africa, they all have innate wisdom. But we so seldom don't trust ourselves or honor ourselves enough to listen to ourselves. So success for me is peace of mind, number one. And peace of mind requires me to know what peace feels like. We know what peace doesn't feel like. But ask yourself, what does peace feel like? And so in my latter years, the last 15 years, I've really worked very hard on myself to be present fully every day as much as I can.
Right.
That for me now is success. If I can at the end of my day go, oh wow, that was a painful experience. Goodness, you were present with yourself. Gosh, you could heal from it quickly.
Correct.
Right? And so how do you lead from that position of understanding? And I know it sounds so airy-flairy, but hey, it's hard work.
Yeah.
It's hard work to sit with myself and go, that's uncomfortable. Okay, how do I feel about being uncomfortable? Okay, moving on from there, right? So that's success, the peace of mind. Leading from that position, what does it take? It takes for you to really own how you feel about stuff.
Okay.
I know I went deep, man. I don't know how to be superficial, and I'm so glad I don't need to know how to be superficial because I don't want to live that life. Success for me is to be fully present with myself. And so, yes, how do I lead from that? It's to just be honest with yourself all the time and live it. Live it, and people will know. People will know, and people are... I'm going to go to the scripture. When you live fully present with yourself as Christ in you, the hope of glory, people will be drawn to you. Full stop. And when people are drawn to you and they see how you live, they will follow what you do. Not what you say.
Right.
But what you do. Yeah.
I love that. Key lessons that you can share with us on some of what for you as an entrepreneur, social entrepreneur, whichever one. I know you're more social entrepreneur, but what are the key lessons, that you could now share with a younger Jacqueline of 11 years old to say, okay, I want to become an entrepreneur, I want to become a social entrepreneur. What are some of the key lessons?
Number one, trust yourself.
Okay.
Just trust yourself. You know stuff. Trust yourself. I would say that. Number two, find someone who's already done what you hope to do.
Okay.
And sit at their feet. Don't be so arrogant you can't learn from someone else. There are people who have done something similar to what you want to do. Go sit at their feet. 90% of my mentors have passed because they were so old. I sat at their feet and I learned. I don't need to make the same mistakes. So you short circuit the learning process for yourself. You make it easier for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you have more in there, but I've been told we need to have a quick break. So we'll be right back. Wow. I'm still enjoying hearing the stories and your definition of success, which you gave, which was so passionate, and your key life lessons as well that you shared, trusting yourself, finding someone to learn from, having role models. And like you said, you had role models who were like 90 years old. There's so much to learn from our older, ones, and a lot of people don't see it. And I always tell people, we all should find a way to empty ourselves. As we get older, we should be emptying ourselves as we get older. So there's a lot the older generation have that, yes, maybe we need to force some of them to empty. So there's a lot, like you said there, that the young people can, somebody wants to become an entrepreneur can do. And you mentioned, or not mentioned, you shared with us your own personal experience in terms of abuse, and so on. And I know we have a lot of issues, social economic issues in Africa, South Africa, Africa as a whole, be it Kenya, be it Gambia. The issues are indeed similar, from poverty, unemployment, no access to infrastructure. Although I think I know, but I might be wrong, because I was wrong with 2 when you gave the value. It was only 1 I had an idea, about the authenticity, autonomy, and wholeness. I think it was the authenticity one that I knew that, yes, that's one for you. So I might be wrong with this one as well. What are you passionate, about that? You will want to see more solutions, to it, what kind of solutions? So not just you saying what the problem is or what you're passionate about, but to come up with ideas and solutions, even if you're not the one that would, make it happen. So what issue or what area of work?
Yeah, so women's economic empowerment and social ills, because I think we as women we hold healing in our hands. But I feel like we don't value it enough. So there's a lot of, many spaces you come into where women work together, and there's a lot of puller down syndrome. And I think there's an opportunity to shift that and change it to push her up syndrome. So I think there's really a lot of room for us to be able to have women sit in the room. We are very creative. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The level of creativity for a woman, you can say now, Mama, I don't know how to do this. Tomorrow morning she will wake up with a solution for you. And I really, really, really think that there's an opportunity for women to sit in rooms and come up with solutions, practical solutions. And we don't need permission. We don't need permission. We're already doing it. We're already doing it in our lives. And so I think really to get more women into rooms, to get women to sit and talk to each other and actually buy into the solutions and make it policy. Really, 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 that's a big one for me, It showed up very much when I was doing my studies and in the work that I do. And then the second one for me is, as I said, around, economic empowerment and
social ills, I think you were
social
saying.
ills and things like that. But mostly I think the notion of learning from the next generation, just as much as learning from the previous generation. I think in a lot of these forums, it's the older women sitting and talking, but sometimes the solutions come from the younger generation because they see some things that we can't see. And we must listen to them. We'll be surprised. We'll be so surprised with some of the solutions. I think there's a synergistic need to bring the two. Yeah. That's the one.
Build a bridge between those two.
Yes. That I would love to get my hands dirty with a lot more. So at the moment, I'm kind of doing it in some of the programs.
Yeah, I'm sure
I've got younger people that I'm working with, and I'm learning from the older generation. So for me, in my journey, it's happening, but I'd like to see it more.
What motivates you? I want to ask that, and I think that's my final question for today, because I just cannot help but ask that. And you have so much energy, and I can relate because I'm energetic. But now I'm now looking at you, and I'm thinking, okay, based on your background, because I didn't know that part of you, and I won't even say I will understand that part. So because somebody who has been through what you've been through could withdraw and not, but you have so much energy, that smile. What motivates you? What makes you just keep, what?
Brilliant question. The permission I receive every morning when I wake up and I take my first breath. The fact that I wake up and I go, my lungs fill up and I'm able to open my eyes, something happens in my bones, something happens in me that says, I have permission to show up today. The creator of the universe has not withdrawn my breath from my body yet. Because my body is the tool to be present on the earth. It's the breath that keeps my body alive. And so when I wake up in the morning and I go, oh, okay, there we go. I got breath today. Come on, let's go. And some days that breath is tired. Then I rest. Some days that breath is inspired to take on something new, and then I'll take on something new. It depends on what that breath gives me permission to do. It's not you, it's not some other person, it's that breath. What is the purpose of this breath today? Let me go, and let me be a positive voice out there, because I know everybody's having a hard time. So if I can be that, then I'm happy, and then I'm successful, and then I can breathe happier. And at the end of the day, I put my head on the pillow and I sleep. I'm happy. And if I don't know that I'm not going to wake up tomorrow morning, it doesn't matter. But I've lived fully for today.
For that moment.
That motivates me. Yes.
My dear sister, Jacqueline Tamri, I salute you. I see you.
Thank you.
I hear you.
Thank you.
I celebrate you. I honor you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And you're using part of what you said about that diamond at the beginning, whereby yes, you're shaping, that, and God has not even started with you. That's what I feel right now.
Same.
You just need to continue to hear Him.
Thank you.
And like you said, wake up that in the morning and just take that deep breath to say, okay, where do you want me? What do you want me to do? How can I use what that journey
is inside me?
That is inside you already. So and the money,
will
the
come.
people, the support will come.
But
you need to put it out there as well.
Thank you.
You need to put it out there. I think you've been in that. I know you're a life coach, and I'm not doing anything like that here. But you need to now come out of your own shell of that volunteer. Which is fine. You can still give of your time and give of yourself. You can't even separate that. However, you need to look at self, like you said, selfful.
There we go.
And I think that's what, for me, part of this is about. But I celebrate you, and I thank you for all the lives you've impacted in different ways that you might not even know. Whether it's the young people you've coached, the older people that you've listened to. Because it's one thing as well for our older people to find people to listen to them. And take what they've impacted and practice it. So thank you for impacting lives positively.
Thank you.
And we look forward to a follow-up, where I really want to, I don't know whether you agree to it, but I really want to go into the issues of the trauma and the abuse and see, because this is important. And I think, it's important, we talk about it, we, not necessarily damn the consequence, because sometimes the consequence could be maybe because you've been blessed so much, because sometimes that consequence could
mess you up.
Mess you up completely. Where you could end up where you don't want to. But and I think it's because God had a hand in it.
I agree.
He had a hand in it, but not a hand to give you a bad experience, but to say, even though
open your eyes.
Even though that's happening, I'm with you.
Absolutely.
I'm with you.
Yes.
Whew. Anyway, in closing, I'll want you to just give a word of encouragement. There's some deep stuff, you've shared there. To anyone, out there that you want to speak to. So in closing.
Thank you for that. So You know, on my business card and on my website, there's a statement. And the statement is, there's no room for ego when serving others. So what is ego? Ego is the stuff that you think makes you you. You are so much more than that. You are an infinite being that can serve humanity fully, just as you are. And so I want to add to what I say on my website and on my business card, which is there's no room for ego in serving others. And I want to take it further, and I want to say there's no room for ego in serving others, and more so, you better get out your way if you want to grow, because you will stand in your own way. Get over yourself. Walk over yourself. You are so much more than your experiences. You are so much more. You are an infinite being with the power to make a difference and be a voice for others. So be encouraged, be inspired. Thank you. And thank you for having me.
Wow. Powerful words there. I wouldn't even try and recap on it. It's just too deep and so apt and so insightful.
Thank you.
Amazing words. And I hope, and I am sure, it has touched on even one life.
Thank you.
That's all for me we need to do most of the time.
Yes.
One life. Just to hear that one person saying, I appreciate, what she said, and I was inspired, by what she said. I can hear. So thank you. Well, that's all we've got time for today on Impact Africa, and it's been a deep one. A very, very deep one. And yet, this is what this is about. It's about sharing a platform to share, a platform to celebrate. And some of those stories might be stories that you'll be like, wow, wow, wow. But if there's anyone out there right now, going through any form of abuse, boy, girl, adult, anyone, speak up. Like Jacqueline said, there at the end, don't, get over yourself as well. And don't stand in the way of yourself. Not that we're saying, it's not a problem, before I'm misquoted, but you need to speak up. Mm. And maybe find other people as well. I'm sure we'll be going to be sharing Jacqueline's, details at the end. You could reach out to her. But remember, she's a life coach and she wants to make, some rands, as well now, before everybody starts running and say, I don't want to get into trouble, free session and all that. So, but I'm sure she's willing and will be able to offer some form of, support or help and come up with an arrangement, even if you can't, afford it. But, it's always good to see someone and don't struggle alone. She mentioned Ubuntu there. We are, you are because we are.
Yes.
So we're all part of the same. And let me stop there. And praying that God will continue to be with you. Take care of yourself. Stay safe, stay blessed. And this is Mama K signing off, saying, love you all. And from Jacqueline.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.